guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Dwight with Dwight Pours. How are you doing today? Today I'm going to be doing another dump and swirl or a puddle pour and swirl. I'm not quite sure exactly which one I'm going to do yet. Depends on how I feel when I get back up in my studio and I mix my paints and I get ready to pour. I'm going to be working on a 24 by 36 canvas. It's a level 3 Michaels canvas, so that means it has the thicker sides, like I think 1.5 inches. And so with that in consideration, I have to think about how much paint I'm going to have to put into my pour. So I get a lot of questions about how much paint do I use for my puddle, how much paint do I use for my dump paints, and they're really good questions. On smaller canvases, I use for my dump paint pretty much the amount that I need to cover the surface. However, on larger canvases, I use more paint in my puddles and less in my dump paint. So I don't have a mathematical way of figuring this out. It's sort of just by practice. So say for instance, if I need about 40 ounces of paint to cover the canvas, I will probably do 25 to 28 ounces in my puddle and give myself 10 to 15 ounces for my black paint. So when I pour that, I want to make sure that I stretch it. You want to make sure the best you can that you get the black to cover your puddle paints. Now it doesn't always happen, and that's okay. You still can get pearls and cells and still have a great result and a great composition. However, that's what I always keep in the back of my mind is how I tilt. And I usually go in one direction first to get the longest real estate coverage, so to speak, on my canvas first. I don't go to the shorter ends. So if you watch today, what I'm probably going to do is go to one corner at the opposite end of where I pour, maybe the other corner, and then the bottom corners. Sometimes I do one corner, take it back to the other side, do the opposite corner at the other end, and then that corner. And that does make a difference. It makes a difference on how you stretch your paints, how the composition turns out, sometimes even cells, as many cells or less cells. It just depends. Now, again, I'm not like the expert in knowing every single detail and how this works, because as you know, once you think you got it down, sometimes you make a complete mess. The other question that has been asked of me more recently is about my dump colors or my dump paint, the black paint that I use. And how do I know how much to use, and also how do I mix it? Now, I've said in my videos, and especially I think in the notes below, that I always mix at least 1 part paint, 2 to 3 parts floetrol, just a little bit or a drizzle of Liquitex pouring medium, and water. You need water to thin the paints. The Liquitex pouring medium acts as a binder, and it helps keep the paints and the pigments intact for stretching, as well as when you add the water. So you don't need a ton of it, but you need enough to make sure that the paint, will stay bound. So when you stretch it and add water, you don't lose some of the color. Excuse me. So with the black paint, so I use black for my dump paint. So with the black paint, it's pretty much the same. I might have to be, if I think about it, I probably use equal amounts of paint and equal amounts of floetrol. And of course, probably a lot more water because I'm using more of the paint and the floetrol. So yeah, I will reflect on that once I mix my paints and we get started. And I'll try to pay attention and give you guys a little bit more details about how I mix the paints for today. So we're going to be working with greens, maybe a little bit of blue, and we'll see what we get. And guys, stay tuned and we'll see you in just a second. Okay guys, here I am. I'm back with my paint choices for today. I'm going to start on the bottom here, and what I did was I did a mixture of Arteza, can you see that? Pearl Sea Green, and I mixed that with a little bit of Arteza Luscious Green to make that sort of nice, interesting green. Now this is blue, but I mixed it with Arteza Sky Blue, this right here. There we go. And I did add some of the Luscious Green to that as well. Now this right here is a mixture, this green, of fluorescent sour yellow And I also mixed in luscious green, which is in quite a bit of the colors it seems like today, which is cool. And then this 4-ounce cup here on the end is just Arteza Prussian Blue. There we go. And I'm just gonna throw that in the middle of my puddles today. So when I said earlier about my black paint, I mixed about 20 ounces here. I did about equal parts floetrol to the Artist Loft soft body paint and a drizzle of Liquitex pouring medium. That's about it. Now in these paints, I did what I usually do, which is 1 part paint, 2 parts, 2 to 3 parts floetrol, and then a drizzle of Liquitex pouring medium and water to thin it down. And this is what I'm using. So I'm gonna prep my canvas. There it is. I think I've gotten it pretty level, got my level out there. I'll check again before I prep the corners, and we'll get started in just a couple of seconds. We'll see. Okay guys, here I am. I'm back for the walkthrough. Wow, it really took over, didn't it? It looks like there's more blue than the green. Well, I guess that's bound to happen. The dark blue, the Prussian blue, ended up here, a little bit through here. And then you can see the blue mixed in with the lighter greens. Now these greens I used had metallic in it, so I'm hoping that it, provides a nice shine once it's dry. So let's move in and show you some of the details. Look at these cells, these pearls. Really pretty, really pretty. Blue is one of my favorite colors, as you know. I do a lot of blues. I am hoping it doesn't dry too dark. That's my biggest fear with this one. But what's interesting down at this corner is all of the light green came through here. Yeah, these are just really great cells. Up close, it looks pretty cool, actually, I must say. And the lighting, again, is pretty poor in my studio here. I'll probably clean up that little area right in there. But yeah, so I think everything worked out pretty well proportion-wise. Whoops. I tripped over my floetrol. I used about 20 ounces of the black paint, and I had 28 ounces, there we go, 28 ounces of the puddle paints. I had 3 8-ounce cups, 1 4-ounce cup, and then I used a 24-ounce cup for the dump paint, the black paint, but I used about 20 ounces. I didn't fill it up all the way. So once again, a piece of abstract art, sort of my aesthetic. I'm liking it, I'm digging it. What I'm thinking and hoping is that this will lighten up even more, because sometimes as it dries, it does that. The lighter color kind of pops through. So let me show you the black and white one I did. Oh, the glare. Turned out great. It's way up here on my wall. You can see some of the blotches in the black. I just filled in to make it look more smooth and cohesive. Highlight a little bit of the white. And that's all I did. I didn't do anything else to it. I think it still turned out pretty well. If you haven't already seen, this is the rest of my gallery space. I can, some of these I've done, you've seen. It's one of my favorite ones right there, as well as that purple one up there is really nice too. running out of room. I got one on the floor. I've got these over here. You hear my partner in a meeting. And then these over here turned out pretty nice too. Okay, guys, thanks so much. If you have any questions, just let me know at dwightpours@yahoo.com. Check out my website at www.dwightpours.com and let me know what you think. Yeah, okay, guys, you guys have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you this weekend.